Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Flipside podcast. This is Mike from ATL Flips, and I'm here with a friend of mine named Aaron. He's also a reseller here in Atlanta. Doesn't have like a YouTube channel or anything like that, but definitely the person that I kind of learned from a little bit. So kind of want to start this off with, if you haven't seen my videos or know anything about me, I probably won't because I haven't really said much, but I kind of wanted to do that here. So a little bit about me and my background here is I got into reselling back in September, and it was mainly because of this guy here. And I'll tell his story in a minute. But like growing up, my dad had like a flea market, had a bunch of different businesses, and I've always thought about opening a business in the future, and like it's always been something in my head like I wanted to do, but it just hasn't happened. And come around September, I mean, he's been telling me this for months, like. He's been, selling things on eBay and like doing all these different things and going to these sales, and I kept listening to him, kind of like, yeah, dude, whatever, like, cool. And then and eventually, like, I was like, all right, I'll just go out with you one day, like, let's just go. And that's kind of what happened. It started from there. So I started back in September, and this is part time. I'm not a full time reseller. I don't think you are either.
No.
But it is something that we do to make extra money, and whether it's to pay off bills or just to have extra fun money. There's just a lot of things it's useful for. So enough about me. So Aaron, tell me a little bit about like your history.
Yeah. So I've been interested in selling things since I was like a kid. I guess you get the new video game system. When I was a kid, you would basically put it in the bulletin board, which was the paper.
Okay.
So the N64, and then that turned into the PlayStation, and then that turned into the PlayStation 2, and it just kind of rotated like that. Back then. So, someone would come to the house and pay you for it because you're a kid, you don't have enough money or whatever. So
fair point.
That's kind of where it started as far as flipping something to get like the next thing. So I learned that at a young age, and then just going to garage sales with my mom and getting like, I remember I got this like Ghostbusters like gun.
Oh, like with the backpack.
Yeah, okay. Like, ding, 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 like that thing. Yeah. I don't know why I remember that, but so getting that and the foot pedal where it like with the hose or whatever where the ghost is supposed to come out. There's like a name for it, but getting that and was pretty cool. But basically growing up, eBay kind of popped when I was like 12, 13. My friend's dad got really into Beanie Baby craze. And that's kind of where I first saw like people flipping stuff like on eBay.
Yeah, especially during that craze. That was it was a crazy one.
And then it crashed. I think he lost like a good bit of money on it or whatever. And then that's kind of where I was like first introduced to it. But it really didn't start clicking as far as me getting on eBay and like doing it myself till probably like early 2010s with like vinyl records from Hot Topic. My buddy and I figured out this like system of like getting the records that would come out by certain bands, and it would be like a repress of a record that hadn't been pressed for like 15 years or whatever. So they would sell out really quick, but we get like 5 or 6 of them, get them shipped to the house, and then media mail just goes out super cheap. Yeah. So that's kind of where a lot of it started. It just kind of grew from there. Since then, I'd get into like doing the hype stuff, the Apple Watch, like flipped that when that came out, did like the whole Fallout thing with the helmet or whatever.
Yeah, so you're like the opposite of me. Like I would never want to do that because like that to me, personally, I'm against. Like I don't want to buy something that's brand new, that's limited edition.
Yeah.
Just because like it's literally not available, so you can charge more for it. Like I just can't do that. Like I'm not hating the game. Get it? Totally makes money. Sure. I totally understand, but.
I caught a lot of flack for a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
People got pretty upset.
Yeah, I mean, it's rough.
It was like that with like the records too, though, because I go to like record store day, and I remember I went one time, and this was I stood in line for it for like 2 or 3 hours, but there was one record in there, and like is like by this band called Death Grips, and every single record store who got it, they only got one copy, and that's if you got it. And that was going for like $300, $400.
Oh,
and it cost $25. So like that was like kind of worth my time, I guess, standing in line just for that record. But I got a few other ones or whatever. So that was another one back then. And just kind of went from there.
Okay.
So
yeah, this is Tux the podcast cat.
Yeah.
So If you see him pop in and out, we can't
He's always
control
got to
him.
be involved. So.
Can't control him, so he's just kind of doing whatever he wants to do.
Yeah.
So like actually this morning we've been out. We've been to a couple yard sales this morning, some garage sales, and like today was kind of like a weird day. Like I felt like we kind of started off a little late for like a lot of the things that were in the area, but even with that, and you guys can see the footage later. I'll put that out, or maybe before. I don't know. Whenever I get to editing. But like we didn't find the typical. So I guess the question I was going to first ask is like, what do you typically look for? Like me personally, when I go out, you know, as I started, video games were like the number one thing I want to look for because it's also the most familiar for me, right? I've grown up playing video games. Like I've had some of those consoles, like so it made the most sense. But obviously, like you know, you can't survive on just finding and selling video games.
You will fail.
Right, and that's just it. Like, so what are some of the things that you look for when you're out? Other than just like video games and easy stuff.
Yeah, of course, like, you know, video games low-hanging fruit, you know, and, you know, and they're all, not all of them are even really worth anything.
Yeah.
It's like, some of them, it's like they basically have to give them to you to even make any money on, and that's even if they sell.
Yep.
Like, so you got to get a pop-in game people actually want. You might get lucky and like someone wants it in their collection or whatever. But, yeah, so whenever I go, I look for certain things. Electronics is a big one. Stuff, anything that's new in the package, you always just want to look at, just period. Anything brand new, always good because it's brand new. It's not gonna, you know, break, or it doesn't need to be tested or whatever. So it's gonna hold its value. I try to look for things like that. Shoes, you know, that's kind of been my new thing right now. I know like Harry Tornado, he's all about some shoes.
Yeah, they go through like shoes and clothes. They're like all about, which is great. I actually, you know, use them a lot to just learn because like they've been doing this for so long. I mean, I think he's even said like he actually knew nothing about shoes until like he started flipping, and then it was like he's having to learn because he wants to make money.
It's
nuts.
nuts.
Makes sense.
There's so many different like kinds and like different brands. I don't really find any of the like the really like off the wall ones that like he does or whatever, but I kind of just stick to like Nikes or
yeah,
whatever.
things that you know. But I mean, you're expanding your knowledge. I mean, that's part of it, you know.
But like stuff like Nike, that's gonna sell like quick, you know, like instantly, or you know, in a week or whatever. Like it's not gonna sit there too long. I look for that kind of stuff. Also, like, you know, of course, vintage T-shirts, any types of like T-shirts or stuff that looks interesting. I'll try to pick up. Of course, action figures, toys. Stuff like that.
Legos.
Legos for sure.
Legos are kind of weird for me. Like, I don't buy. If I just see a bag of Legos, I'm not going to buy it. Like, what I'm looking for is like either like figures or like completed sets, like things that I know that people could be looking for. But like if it's just a bag full of random Legos, I'm like, I don't know about dealing with that. I mean, maybe if my kid wants to play Legos, that's a good way to do it, but I wouldn't.
Well, lately I've had a lot of success off, you know, women's beauty products. So, so stuff that's, you find a lot of that at estate sales, like brand new in the box on like Revlon, just certain creams. I don't even know half their names. They're just all kind of all over the place, but a lot of that stuff's super expensive. Serums, stuff like that. For women, like anti-aging creams are huge. Like sell for like a bottle of some of those will sell for like $80-100.
Right, and you've done like perfume and like cologne and things too.
Yeah, so. I just bought like 4 empty bottles of Chanel vintage bottles yesterday at an estate sale for like $10 for 4 of them.
Just the bottles?
Yeah, like just the bottles. People just want just the bottle, just the empty bottle.
Do they refill them or something? Or
I think so.
Okay.
But people buy them. Like they sell like pretty good too. The sell-through rate on them's great. But just stuff like that, it kind of depends. I'm always just learning new stuff to get, or you know what. eBay's tough because everything goes up and down, right? It's like a market.
Yeah.
Well, it is. It's a marketplace. But it's like a stock market. Some stuff will be in demand, like, you know, 1 week, and then the next it won't be.
Right.
And of course, like with clothes and everything, is like seasonal. So I'm not gonna buy a hoodie right now.
Right.
Like, you know, I saw a couple jackets or whatever today.
Yeah, we saw one that it was a Jim Beam jacket. Yeah. It was just like, I mean, they wanted to kind of a little bit too much for it. It wasn't really worth much, but the fact that they were like selling, like, I'm gonna pick that up right now.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, how long am I gonna be sitting on that?
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of like the point on that. Like, there's a couple factors, right? Like, do you have the space to store it? Is it a seasonal item? Is it gonna stay in like storage for a while? Like, there's kind of a fine line with like the stuff that you pick up, right? Like if you want to pick up stuff that makes you a lot of money, but it's going to sit a while, I probably want to get one or two of those, where like I have other things that can fill out the time that the other thing doesn't sell. I can like kind of spread my time out and the profit that I make, because it's hard to like buy a bunch of like expensive things and think you're going to sell a bunch of stuff, because it doesn't happen right away. Like
Sure.
it can take days, weeks. I think I had like the last thing I had that was sitting on my shelf when I first started back in September. I think it was like 156 days. It sat on my shelf before it sold.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even that great. It was just like a whatever item, but like it sat on my shelf for that long, and it was kind of bulky. Like I remember that, but yeah, it's just you never know really like what you're going to like, get. But obviously, you're always learning when you go out. Like that's part of it, and it's for me personally. Like obviously, like you said, action figures, video games, things like that. But the other thing that I look for, and it's because of like something that I'm passionate about, is like board games and card games.
Yeah, you're always on the board.
I'm always on the board games and card
Oh my
games.
God.
And
there's ever like a
that's
Jenga
me.
or
I'm going
something
there.
Like Mike's just straight to it.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, they're not necessarily worth a whole lot of money, but there can be, depending on the games that you have. Like today, I actually picked up Risk, and it was like some other slight variant of Risk. And that game doesn't really sell that much. It's like $20, like maybe for a brand new. But the key to that one is all the parts and pieces. Mm-hmm. Like if you lot them up, you can sell them for like $20 for just the lot of like a certain type of piece, because people obviously have the game, but they've lost the pieces over the years. So little things like that is what I look for. Obviously, like brand new in box, like Yahtzee. I don't know what it is, but Yahtzee is like on fire. Like every Yahtzee game that I've picked up, whatever I priced it for, like someone paid for it.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean quick. Like it was probably within a week. Like it sold. Like I don't know what it is, but people are like killing the Yahtzee game. Like that is it.
That's interesting.
So, but yeah, it's interesting that that's one of those things that people just like wouldn't really think about, but they constantly buy. Like it's really strange.
I was getting into I had a kick where I was getting like a lot of like home improvement stuff, like doorknobs or stuff like that.
And that's expensive stuff, because like, you gotta have it.
Yeah, like Delta or like I think it's called like Molten or whatever. Like those kind of brands are like high-end brands, and sometimes people will have like 10 or 11 of them like out
like
or
they
whatever.
try to build their house and they got enough or whatever.
Or like a lot of times people will be like, well, that didn't fit. Like this just.
Or they
fit.
change their mind, like the style or whatever.
And stuff's expensive, and I mean, there's always people buying homes and fixing them or whatever, so it's gonna sell. Yep. So just stuff like that people don't like think about that have like high margins on, because you go to home, you go to Lowe's or whatever. I mean, it's expensive, so people just buy it on eBay for cheap. Even if a lot of times it's open box, like it. Maybe they just try to put it on and that's it.
Well, as a contractor or someone that's like just flipping houses, for example, like they're not going to care if like it was open box. Like as long as it works,
they don't care.
Like they don't care the
if you're
brand
a
necessarily either.
Like you're trying to do stuff the cheapest, period. Anyway, So
really. Well, what are some of the things like when you're out yard selling and garage selling? What are some things that like kind of piss you off about like other resellers? Like, because like obviously we're all out there, right? Like everybody's wearing GoPros now, like walking around with cameras, like you can tell when they're a reseller, especially if they walk up. The first question is like, "Y'all got any video games?"
Yeah,
and it's like
that's honestly probably the biggest one. It's like these people are out here and they took so long to like get all their stuff out. It's a lot of work, to have a yard sale. Period. It's you got to carry all that stuff out there
and then take it back in if you don't sell it. That's the worst part. God, I hate that part.
So I think when people come up and they're just like they come, that's like the people are like, oh, good morning. It's like, can't even get good morning out.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, you guys got any video? Oh, okay, we'll buy. And it's like they don't even. Now that's okay with me in a way, because if they just leave when there's no like, G.I. Joes from the 70s or or a Nintendo 64 laying there, then like there's so much other stuff that they just don't know.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like most sales. I mean, you're going to find a little bit of everything typically, like some clothes, shoes, like knickknacks, whatever. But like, that's the thing. There's so much else that's sitting on a table that people overlook. And I've done it too. Like I know I've done it. You've probably done it. It's
I
like
probably did it today.
You get goggles on. You get like the beer goggles, and you see like a certain item, and you're like, oh god, I gotta get that. And then you just like hurry up and pay for it, and you leave, and you're like, crap, I didn't even remember seeing what the rest of that table was. Like there was probably stuff up there. And like I'm filming, like I'll go out and when I start editing, I'll start seeing things. Like in my first couple of videos, I saw things that I was like pushing out of the way to like grab. And I'm like I literally had my hand on it. Like what the heck? Like But I mean, that's just it. Like, it takes a lot of experience to learn a lot of that stuff, but you don't really know it until you kind of do it. It's like, a repeating process that has to constantly grow.
Yeah, and sometimes that means, it not selling, or you get it home and it's, I think the worst is like when you don't look to see if everything's there or whatever, then you get home and you're like, oh, I mean, like you thought it was new or whatever.
And you pay like a top dollar for it, like you pay like asking price, whatever it may be, like it may be something ridiculous, like, I mean, we just sailed today, and it was like, like 30. It was almost like $34 for a couple PS6 or PS3 games, PS6, and I was able to negotiate with it to get it for $20 for all the games rather than 35 or 34. Still like $250 a game, but I mean, it's better than paying like $5 a game.
Well, a lot of this you can use as filler. Like if you found a PS3 and you need to fill like or what's Chase After the Right Price guys called.
Oh yeah.
Like you bundle it up with like the system or whatever.
Yeah, because I mean that's the thing. Like people are gonna buy a system. Usually it's probably gonna be a parent or something, especially like Christmas, and they're gonna want to be able to give them a game too. Like, because I remember those times like when you'd buy a system and it would come with a game.
Oh yeah.
Like remember those days? Like those were the good old days. Now it's not. You don't even get a game. Like you get basically one controller.
Yeah.
And then you have to go download everything and pay for it.
Yeah, more like you have to wait another day to get the game because that's how long it takes to download.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. Not wrong.
And then you have to go buy a new hard drive because that one game just took up the entire hard drive.
Yeah, basically. So what are some other things that kind of like piss you off?
Oh, man,
about yourself?
High prices. High prices.
Yeah.
The best is when people print out the eBay listing and they put it on the and it's like the actual listed. It's not the sold one, and they have them like on multiple like things.
Yeah.
In the sale. That's the best.
Yeah, I mean, there was a sale I remember we went to, and there was a dude with a guy, like a binder. He had a bunch of laptops and like all these things that he like fixes and sold and everything.
That was wild.
And like he literally had a binder of all of the current eBay prices for all of the items that he was selling. And don't get me wrong, it's your sale. You can do whatever you want to do. You can sell it for whatever price you want or not sell it, whatever. So no problem with that. And obviously like with yard selling and thrifting and things, like there's negotiation, there's the barter aspect. You can like talk to them and try to figure out a price. But like, I guess there's a disconnect with a lot of people thinking that like, as a reseller, we're going there, we're going to just pay $30 for an item that's $30 on eBay, but we're not. Like, we have to make money. And like, in order to do the listing, the shipping, the sourcing, the listing, and the shipping, like, all of that costs money.
It's a grind.
And it's a grind. Like, it literally takes a lot of time to do this stuff.
A lot of time.
And if I'm paying the same price that eBay's already got, like, I'm not making any money. Why would I pay that?
Yeah.
And they get upset, like, oh, why, I already looked it up. And it's like, well, that's fair. Like, I get that. I'm not saying dude, you can sell it. Like, go for it.
Yeah.
Go to eBay. Sell the stuff.
That's why when you go to a pawn shop, like they give you such a low amount because it's such a convenience for you to go in and like you just get rid of it for cash like that quick.
Yep.
And they have to deal with everything like around that. Yep. It's kind of the same thing with the yard sale. It's like, okay, well, you're getting rid of everything that fast for cash.
Yep.
And it's like, well, I'm the one that's got to do the work. It's almost like I'm the pawn shop. Like
exactly. And that is kind of the same way to think about it. Because, I mean, and I'm not saying that all resellers are perfect, and I'm not saying all yard sale sellers are perfect. But there's a fine line in between. Like, as a reseller, there's a couple other channels and podcasts we listen to, like the Pixel Plus actually is one of them. And one of the things that one of the guys that's on their riff, like his main thing lately is like he doesn't want to film the transaction like during that process of trying to negotiate a price, because like it kind of puts the people that they're being filmed, like it kind of puts them at
it does.
A situation where they feel like they have to say yes, like they have to do that. And I totally get that. And I mean, I'm still out filming and I still do that. But a lot of times now I'm not really trying to barter as much. Like if the price is a fair price, like if I know I'm going to make a good profit on it, like I'll just pay the price. I'm not going to the only time I do is when, like, if I'm going to put a bunch of things together. Like I'm like, hey, like if I bundle a bunch of stuff together, I may see something that's $20 and I may want to pay less for that. But like if I put it in the box and I'm paying for a bundle, then, I can negotiate with that. And like that feels a little better about it.
The bundle's the best.
Yeah.
And like the best, like, and that, so there's some estate sales here who do that. And they'll let you they're like, all right, well, the more you buy, we'll give you a better deal. And those are like the best. Because like the estate sales, the stuff's like such good quality. It's not like you go to Goodwill and like half the stuff's broken or whatever.
Yeah.
So you know you're gonna get like quality, like more quality stuff. Now, I mean, I bought stuff from estate sales, and like I actually bought something yesterday from one, and rookie mistake though. Anytime you have like or get any type of like electronic, like plug it in, check if the batteries are corroded.
Yeah. So, and to add to that too is a smart thing I've seen. I don't remember exactly what YouTube video person I saw this on, but he always carries extra batteries, like AAA and AA's
smart.
with him to like any Goodwill thrift store he goes to. He just carries those with him because he knows like all these cameras are in there, like everything's going to need batteries so he can test it. And that plus checking for corrosion, because that's the worst thing is like when you get home, you find something and you're like, yeah, and then you unlock the battery pack, like you unscrew it, and then you like get it out and it's just full of like the original batteries corroded, and like you can try to clean it, but like a lot of times that stuff, unless you're like a person who knows how to get into the mother, like I'm not doing all that.
I'm not doing all that either.
But like, yeah, it's like that just sucks. Like you wasted however much money, and that's just it.
And that's why you try to get stuff as cheap as you can, because that stuff will happen. You just gotta like write it off basically, like as a loss, But I always try to do that with stuff. Oh, another thing, I look for are cameras. Yeah. So cameras are a big thing.
What kind of cameras are you referring to?
Really, like anything Sony. Lately, Sony Handycams. And JVC Handycams, I've ran into like a lot. Those are big.
Yeah, same a little bit.
Anything shooting with like the mini DVI, whatever it's called. Because people like to convert over to like DVD or whatever. Okay. So like that's a big. I mean, you wouldn't think it, but like there's a lot of people out there trying to convert all their old tapes or whatever. Yeah. So they need all that equipment to do it. They pay a lot of money because you just can't go to like Walmart and get that, right?
Yeah, not anymore. I mean, I remember there were shops that you could do that with, like for my grandparents' like anniversary. Like we took all their old footage and we said, hey, make a movie out of this, and they like literally had a camera mounted that they were just filming like another thing, like pictures and stuff to make the slideshow. Like it was nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's
not Nikon and Canon. Anything Nikon and Canon, just the big brands like. And then sometimes like there'll be other brands I never heard of or whatever that like that will surprise me.
Yeah.
And I'll be like,
well, vintage cameras are worth a lot, like Hasselblad and some others out there like that. Like the middle what do you call it? Medium format cameras. All of those things are obviously a lot of money, and typically when I've seen those in the wild, the people have a price on. It's not necessarily like eBay price, but it's marked up a little bit more because they know they're worth a little more than just like the normal, like a Polaroid or whatever you call it. So, which Polaroids are hot. I mean, if you can get a Polaroid camera for like a working condition and you can get it like under $15, like you can still make a good $5 to $15 depending on where you sell it with. Like usually about $50, $60. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's still like people still like. I mean, the retro craze is crazy right now. Yeah. And like the whole everyone wants everything vintage and like
everything's nostalgia. Everybody needs every video game. They're trying to do a collection. Like
but there's people who this is crazy. So I found this YouTube channel. It's like it has Goodwill in the name, but it's this kid. I'll think about it, but it's just like 3 or 4 kids, and all they do is just hang out the Goodwill bins like all day. But they like. The stuff they find, it's like they just sell it immediately or they trade it or whatever. And a lot of people sell things through Instagram. So you have a pop-in like vintage T-shirt or whatever, Instagram or whatever. It's like a thing these kids do. I guess it's crazy. And you can buy like whatever on there. Like they'll just post it. And there's a couple guys on there who are like super popping, like hundreds of thousands of followers, like big, like so whatever they post on there is going to get seen by like, I mean, it's probably so much better than eBay because you have like a loyal fan base of people who are always going to buy it from you.
Well, that kind of brings up a point like Whatnot. Like Whatnot's a new platform that everybody's kind of moving
Which
to.
eBay will do something similar.
No.
Or buy them out.
No, it's not going to be eBay. So let's actually talk about that for a minute. So Whatnot is a new platform, a new marketplace, and it's very similar to if you're familiar with like Twitch, like there's a live chat aspect to it where people can join your stream. And the idea is that you can do a live auction. You can show, like I can literally be in front of the camera like this and be like, hey, I've got this item, check it out, it works, like I'm showing you. And it's very easy as a user to like swipe the button to like buy a bid. Like, all right, I'm the next bid, $10, $11, $12. And it can just snowball like that. But a lot of people don't realize that like it's not gonna work like right away. Like just like Twitch, like and as coming from like a streaming background, like I've done that stuff and I've done still have a video game channel and all that stuff. Like there's a lot to it than just getting online and just streaming. Like sure, you can totally just start a new channel, start streaming, start auctioning off stuff, but you're not going to build a fan base that way. It's going to take time. I'm not saying you can't. It's going to take time.
And that's the thing about Whatnot is like a lot of people who don't like it is they've gotten burned hard.
Yeah.
Because they can just like something will sell for like $1.
Yeah.
That they might have.
Well, and that's the thing too is you don't even have to set the price for $1. You can set the price for whatever you want. But like everybody that's on there that's successful has been selling things for $1, $2.
Yeah,
and Matt did the same thing.
Yeah.
And it does suck when you get burned on that. But what I've done, and a lot of people I've seen too that I watch, is they stop kind of putting everything on Whatnot, and they specifically go out and buy for Whatnot. So they know like this thing, if I do a sale, people are probably going to buy this, and I'm going to get probably double or triple what I paid for it.
Right.
Whereas like I'm not going to go out and take everything I bought today and just go to Whatnot with it because I don't have a fan base there yet. Like I have 30 followers and like that's it, and like that doesn't mean they're going to be watching me when I have a show.
Right.
So it's you can price the items whatever. They're actually going back to them though. They're actually introducing a lot of things.
Because you've done. I've never done.
Yeah. So I've done 2 shows. And they're building, and it's actually really neat. They have a whole support, like Discord, a special sellers Discord that we all have that we can ask questions about, and it's all the Whatnot people there, like the developers that are talking to us and different things. And but they've been adding in the functionality like eBay, where they can have a marketplace and you can buy it now items from that person's store when they're not on, and a lot of things like that. So what I think is going to happen, it's not going to be eBay that's going to buy them because eBay's eBay. They're doing their eBay thing. Why do they need anything new? They don't. They're going to make money. I think Amazon's going to buy Whatnot. Because think about it.
It's possible.
It's literally just like Twitch, except it has the functionality for selling. So if Twitch could integrate that into their own platform already, then all they have to do is add the functionality as far as like buying things.
It's true.
And it's already there. And it's Amazon. They already sell things.
Yeah,
like
I heard you can already you can put up listings now. They did an update where you can actually have listings.
Exactly, yeah. So you can it's basically it's kind of going full circle, right? Like they're becoming more eBay, and eBay is trying to like not do anything, and then Amazon's kind of doing it. So I mean, I don't know. There's a lot to it. I think it's really cool. I'm definitely going to keep using it. But again, don't think you just use it and it's going to just like slam and you're going to be making a lot of money. Like I got very lucky in my first sale. I had a lot of stuff what I used it for was a lot of stuff that I had that I couldn't sell. And when I say I can't sell, I'm not saying I'm just selling a bunch of junk. My purpose is like, I'm very picky when it comes to like video games that I sell. Like the disc have to be very clean, or like very minor scratches, and without that, if it's not like that, then I'm not going to probably list it.
Yeah.
And mainly because like I know how pitchers can do that, and like I don't want someone to like not see that blemish and then like they get it and they're like, oh my god, there's this huge scratch.
Conditions just nuts. Like stuff
exactly.
has to be like the condition on this stuff's got to be like, I mean. You can't lie about it when you say that.
So the reason I liked Whatnot was like I had a bunch of Dreamcast games that I picked up at one sale, and they're all kind of beat up. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to try to list these, but I was able to go on Whatnot and say, hey guys, like here's this Dreamcast game, like look at the disc, like here's the disc, here's all the angles of the disc, like you can see what condition it's in. Like I'm going to start this one off at $1, and then go from there. And I actually did pretty well that day. Like I sold a lot of games that I didn't think I would typically sell. Pretty much in my Goodwill pile, like ready to give back, and I was able to sell them. And I made I think it was like $80 the first show. I mean, it was pretty cool.
It's a good way to get rid of stuff kind of quick.
Yeah, and second show not so well. I think I made like $10 maybe. Like it wasn't very much. And that's the thing too, because like it depends on who you get in the store, or who's in your show. Like, are these people into pops? Are they into games? Are they into books? Like you don't know. So you don't really know at that time. I mean, your category says what you're selling, but you don't really know at that time who's looking for what. And which is cool because a lot of people in the chat will say like, hey, do you have any DS games? Or hey, do you have this? Hey, do you have that? And in that way you can be like, all right, well the next thing I'm gonna list is this.
That's what's hot right now. That's what people are like looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know like GameCube, like everyone's.
Oh yeah, DS. There's a lot of people building collections. GameCube. I mean, all of those systems are like. They're not the vintage old systems yet, but like they're getting there. Like I mean, I say that. I mean, some of these systems are like 20 years old already.
And so another thing you want to look out for going to that is like, you know, I was talking about the market and everything that you always have to look for is like what's trending right now and what's hot in culture. So like that Mario movie's out, right?
Yep.
And that's huge. And so that makes all the Mario like games and whatever, anything Nintendo basically just like go up.
Yep.
And so I think like, for example, I think there's going to be a new Beetlejuice coming out. Like they're doing a new Beetlejuice.
I've heard of that.
And so I'm sure when that pops, like all the Beetlejuice stuff, like all the old toys
for sure.
are going to go up. So that's something you always want to look at. Like when there's a new movie coming out of something or anything in culture where it's like a resurgence, you want to look for that stuff because people are going to like look for it.
Yeah.
And then when someone like, also when someone dies and their stuff gets like more popular.
Yeah, makes sense.
You always want to kind of like that's kind of a morbid way to say it, but I mean it's true. Like their stuff like goes up in value.
Yeah.
So I know people will go like that's the hot thing right now or whatever. People are looking for that or talking about it or selling it.
Well, where do you look for that kind of news? Like just looking at the news?
Yeah. I mean just general like in the news. What's kind of like. I don't know what's hopping right now, like what's going on. So I don't know, Reddit. Just see like where everything's at.
Pretty
like,
much.
Yeah.
So well, cool, man. Thanks for chatting with me today. Yeah. Maybe we'll make this a thing. I don't know. But hey, we appreciate you guys watching.
So I've never done a podcast before. This is my first.
Oh,
one.
sick. Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, welcome.
But it's cool. I like it. I think we should do more, man.
Yeah, I'm down. But yeah, if you guys watch this, checked it out, and you want to see some more, let us know. Feel free to slap a comment below. Let us know what you thought, or if you have any opinions on the things we talked about. I'd love to hear it. But until next time, you guys, take it easy, and we'll see you on the flip side.
All right, peace.